And we'll start out with kind of brief on the background. We had a working group that consisted of President Anderson, Manager Schmalz, myself, and Aiden Reed. Administrator Kinney sat in on a couple of the meetings to start with, but we really were looking at what we had going on within the district for natural shoreline. How can we increase that? And looking at the barriers and the efforts that we could do to increase the natural shoreline. We also looked at statewide, what other programs were out there, what other folks had been doing. Was it successful? Was it not? How could we modify it? Things like that to bring it within the Comfort Lake Forest Lake watershed. Ultimately, we decided to bring an outside contractor entity in. So we opened it up, a request for proposals in February of 2025. We had 5 firms apply. We interviewed 3 of those, and ultimately Moore Engineering was selected in May of 2025. Their contract runs for a year, so it ends the end of May in 2026. And the majority of their work is funded through an MPCA grant. We really look at Moore's largest role is to work with staff to strengthen our current natural shoreline education efforts, and then utilizing analytics, what we've learned, to expand that into the future. So Aiden and I met with Moore several times the first few months to really develop the campaign. What do we have going on? What is working in the district? What is working statewide? What do we want it to look like in the future to develop this campaign? And ultimately, we came down with our goal is to inspire shoreline restoration by making it feasible, a smaller scale, attractive, and rewarding. And we broke the campaign down into multiple phases. So targeted outreach, videos via Facebook, and then kind of a refresher of targeted outreach. And at the end, we'll do a closing, kind of wrapping up the project, looking at a deep dive on the results, the analytics, and then how we're going to use the campaign moving forward. So targeted outreach, we kind of broke that into some key activities. The campaign language was the first one, refreshing the web page, direct mailing, and then home visits. Again, the purpose was to build awareness, establish a campaign identity, and directly connect with priority landowners. We have many variables. Phase 1 goals are focused on product creation and modification, but we also know that we have a current cost share program that's been successful. We have a really good education outreach program that's been really successful. So it's building on what we have, modifying it, using Moore's expertise to kind of refine that a little bit and then help us move forward with it. So ultimately, we're not really reinventing the wheel, but we're making the wheel more effective and efficient within the watershed. I'll kind of go through the key activities. The first one was the campaign language. We started out July and August working on that. We really focused on personal connections and emotion with the language, using terms that people are familiar with, ideas and concepts that they're comfortable with, things like that. Ultimately, we came down to the main campaign tagline of small changes, deep roots, a stronger shoreline. And we, again, focused on language that has a personal connection and emotion. Things like using words like sanctuary, ready to go, it's customizable, your shoreline, your property, your lake, low maintenance, natural. And then also focusing on concepts that we knew people were interested in. Things like loons, keeping geese off your lawn, things like that. Then our second step was to refresh the webpage, and that was August into September. We worked with our current website contractor, which is Pinnacle Marketing, to refresh the webpage, to use the campaign language that we had just developed, give it an updated look, and create more focused informational center. So information center where folks can go to get more information, kind of like a landing hub for them, if you will. We changed the webpage name. It used to be just the cost share page, and we went to the natural shoreline page. And again, you can see the tagline on there: small changes, deep roots, a stronger shoreline. And the metrics to date on that. So in 2025, if we look back at the cost share page or the Natural Shorelines webpage that we changed it to, average in 2025, total users about 15. We're getting about 8 new users per month, views about 30 per month, and engagement rate of 50 per month. That's pretty good. 50% engagement rate is above the industry standard. It's really good. We dropped the new webpage, we refreshed it, we saw an uptick. In September, 28 total users, 11 new users, 55 views, and the engagement bounced up to 65.5%, which is really good. We maintained that for many months. We had a plateau and it started to go down, but we're still looking pretty good, or we're looking pretty good. Our numbers were above the 2025 average. I'll come back to January, February, March. You can see those numbers went way up. I'll explain that in a few more slides. Then we decided to do a direct mailing to do a targeted audience, a pilot group, if you will, of 104 properties on Forest Lake to do a focused direct connection. So we looked at parcels with a minimum of 80-foot setback and that were sold within the last 10 years. So newer landowners that had enough real estate to do a project. There's a screenshot of the postcard on the bottom there. Again, sticking with that simple language, our tagline, we tweaked it to focus on Forest Lake because that was our pilot program, our target audience. Bone and comfort, natural shoreline's pretty good up there. Forest, not a lot of natural shoreline left. So that's why we really focused on Forest Lake to start with. And then we did home visits to that same target audience. So 104 properties on Forest Lake. We created an informational folder that had a lot of the current materials that we had updated, some brochures, some handouts, some like pocket garden site designs, native plant lists, things like that. We went and knocked on doors. If folks were home, we gave them the folder. We chatted with them with a pre-designed script. And you can see that on there. That just had some icebreaker questions. We talked to them about natural shorelines, the benefits of it, the different, simple options, start small, expand from there. And then we closed the visit by asking, were they interested? Were they not interested? Would they like to do a site visit? Kind of a follow-up from there. Of those home visits, 104 people or properties were identified. We did 91 actual home visits. So here's the metrics on those. Why it's 91 is because some folks had a do not solicit sticker up or gates were closed or things like that. So 91 homes were visited out of the 104 identified. 30 we had direct contact with. We did these interviews or we did these site visits during the day, during business hours. So 30 people actually answered the door. And one thing we looked at was the postcard familiarity. So that postcard had went out a month later. We're doing the home visits. How many people remember the postcard? 33% said they remembered seeing the postcard, which is below our kind of 50% marketing average for postcards. It's not horrible, but it's a little bit on the low side. Of those 30 people, then we asked how many were open to the idea right away. 50% were open to a natural shoreline restoration, the concept of it. 37% were pretty resistant or not, it wasn't for them. They weren't ready. 13% were ready to act right away. And again, that's of the 30 homeowners that we actually interacted with, that we talked to. Then we move on to Facebook videos. Kind of the key characteristics that we looked for on the Facebook videos. Campaign language, again, sticking with the simple emotion connection kind of words and language. We did short form videos, less than 1 minute. People are scrolling through Facebook. They're burning through there pretty quick. So we wanted shorter videos and we wanted to do familiarity or keep it in front of people. So we decided to do 10 videos stretched out from January to May. So every other week we would drop a video. Kind of a gradual introduction of shoreline restoration concepts. Simple ideas and expand that and build off there. Very lifestyle forward. Things like less mowing, pollinator habitat, relatable messages and imagery. We did a photo and video shoot throughout Forest Lake and throughout the district. So these images were familiar. They were of Forest Lake. They were of the watershed, things like that. Phase 2 goals for the videos, 100 views per video the first month. So when we dropped them, then the first 30 days, we're looking for 100 views per video, 3 interactions per video. That includes likes, comments, shares, 1 link click per video, and then 5 to 10 additional natural shoreline webpage visits per week. And a couple screenshots of the videos on the bottom there. Again, familiar language, connecting, across the watershed, neighbors are restoring their shoreline. So a sense of connection, community there. The next one over, a natural shoreline means less mowing, watering, and fertilizing, which was identified as a barrier. People don't like to mow, water, and fertilize necessarily. But also that connection that, watering and fertilizing has a water quality impact. Our metrics off of those, so video content to date, we're looking at the first 5 videos that we've had already that we can gather analytics on. The video ID is just the name that we keep track. You can see the date published, the views and interactions. Again, one of our goals was 100 views per video in the first month. Boom, met that. In fact, the first 2 videos, 300 views, 371 views, way over that goal. Second one, 3 interactions per video, likes, comments, shares. We started out strong, which, the novelty was there, that's for sure. Lots of connections, interactions on the first one. And then it did kind of go down plateau, but we still met the goal with 3 out of the 5 initial videos. What we've decided since then is our upcoming videos, our more recent videos, we tried to switch it up. We tried to hang on to that novelty or reintroduce that novelty. So we did a few different colors. We did a vertical video versus horizontal, a little different color to the text. So that way the videos weren't all exactly the same. So if people viewed the first 2 or 3, they're like, we've already seen this. So to switch it up, add a little novelty. And then the chart I already showed you on the website refresh. So here's where the videos began in January. So you can see, again, like I said before, the website refresh, we brought it up, we kind of plateaued out. January, we started dropping the videos, which those videos linked back to the website, to the web page. Again, that's like our information hub. So everything we do, you go to the video, back to the website or that web page. So you can see total users went up, new users went up, views went up, engagement rate almost 70%. That's amazing. And it stayed up there. Engagement rate 60 to 70. March was 76.6%. That's amazing. So one link click per video. We achieved that. 5 to 10 additional web page visits per week. We totally achieved that. So the videos, at least the first 5, and going forward as we've been modifying, we've held on to that. The novelty is still there. People are still engaging with it. The campaign continues. Phase 1 targeted outreach, it's ongoing. The videos, we got 7 videos that we've put out so far to date. We've got analytics on the first 5 pretty well, but we got 3 more. So the videos are going every other week into May. And then we're coming back to the targeted outreach, or almost like a refresh of sorts. We're going to do another postcard to that target market. We're going to do a direct mailing to that pilot group or that target audience. We're going to reach out to the folks that were somewhat interested. Again, these went out fall into winter. As we get closer to spring now, people are more engaged. They can see their shoreline. The snow is melted. People are interested in getting outside and gardening and that kind of stuff. So we're going to revitalize or kind of work off of that. And then the closing. So the last board meeting in May, we'll do a deep dive on the results, the analytics. We'll really look at the campaign in depth, and then we'll look at how we can continue the campaign. Like, what have we learned? How can we work it into our programming and consistently stay with it? So we'll look at May or June for that board presentation. And then just a reminder, this is a marathon, not a sprint. The results are trending positively, and this campaign isn't the only thing we're doing. Last month, Aiden presented on the cost share program. 22% of site visits resulted in closed out projects. That's good. This is a voluntary thing. We're not putting the hammer down on permitting or restrictions necessarily. So these are volunteer programs or volunteer restorations. The cost share activity, you can see the graph that Aiden had. We're trending up. We're picking away at it. We're headed the right direction. Also education outreach, all the workshops and events we're doing. We have the brochures, we have the handouts. We remind people that we do free site visits, that we'll do soil testing, things like that. 492 people participated in 28 workshops and classes last year, which is double the 2024 number. They all were provided that information. They were all directed to contact Aiden for a site visit, go to the website, lots of information out there. And then again, I just put that chart on the bottom that shows, we did the website refresh, it ticked up. We're doing the videos, it's ticked up. The web page is getting more and more views.